Good morning, everybody. Josh here, Solopreneur Grind. It is the SG Daily, number 30. No, sorry, not 30, 86. And I realized I always say good morning, everybody. It's probably a bad idea for two reasons. Number one, it might not be in the morning for you right now. And number two, if you're watching this replay, then it definitely could not be the morning. But anyways, I digress. Today, we're going to talk about email. The reason we're going to talk about email is twofold. Number one, it's really top of mind right now. As many of you know, I've had a running email list for Solopreneur Grind for quite some time. I highly recommend, biasly, that you join it. But number two is, even with the other business I'm working on right now, my immigration tech company, that's email is becoming a big part of that business as well, which is awesome because I've spent a lot of time kind of studying, learning, and practicing it through Solopreneur Grind, but also because I still think it's so underutilized and underrated in terms of just marketing, digital marketing in general, right? Social is really big right now, as it should be, but I feel like not that many people are using email, and most importantly, not that many people are using it very well, right? So there's a big difference between, oh yeah, I have an email list, I send out one email once a month, and we talk about boring stuff and whatever. What a lot of people are not doing is sending really high quality, engaging emails once or twice a week and keeping their potential users, customers, previous customers super interested and engaged with their brand or their business or whatever it may be. So the topic of the email I sent to my email list, which you can join by checking the link below. Whether you're watching this or listening to this, the link is in the description. And I go into detail on the three main reasons that people open your emails, right? Because probably one of the biggest, or let's call it one of the most important metrics for email marketing is your open rate. Because you can write the best email in the world, the text can be awesome, the copy can be great, you can lead to a great offer at the end or whatever. And if nobody opens it, then you're in trouble. Or if 2 or 3 people open it, you're in trouble. So how do you get people to open your emails? I think one of the easiest ways to answer that question is to actually understand the reason why people open emails. And there's really 3 main reasons that people open emails. So I'm going to go into detail, short detail on each one. So firstly, the main one, I don't know if one is more important than the other. The 3 of them are very important in tandem. So I'll go through all of them, and then we'll kind of do a wrap up. The first reason people open emails is the sender name, right? And what I mean by that is the email or the name of the person who has sent the email. So when you check your inbox, you see 2 things. You see the subject line and you see the sender, right? And a lot of people don't realize how much value is in the sender name for a few reasons. The biggest reason being people are more likely to open up an email from a sender name that they're interested in or put value in, right? So the example I used in my email today was, is there a better chance that you open the email from Jesus Christ or from, harryman28@yahoo.net, right? The second one's probably a spammer. So that's, a whole other topic of conversation, but there is a ton of value in the name and or brand or business name that you're sending the email from. So you want to do everything you can to put a lot of value on that name, right? And that's a whole other conversation in and of itself. But number one, sender name. So you want to build as much trust, value, all those good things around whether it's your company name, personal name, so that when people see it, they're going to be more willing to open your emails in general. Part number 2 is that subject line, right? So the only 2 things that people see before they decide to open your email are the sender name and the headline. So they're both extremely important. The headline is something that usually people gloss over, don't think about, and just make very generic. What they don't realize is that it's actually more important than what you put in the email. Because if it's not good, nobody's going to open the email. So the rest of what you wrote is totally irrelevant, right? And how to write good headlines could be a 3-hour long video in and of itself. Maybe I'll do a video just on how to write good headlines because of how important it is. But there are a ton of different ways you can write good headlines, right? You want to pique curiosity. You want to get people excited, tease people a little bit about what's inside the email, especially if it's an important topic. Make sure they're kind of relevant to people. If you're sending to a list of golf fans, you might want to keep it on topic or have some inside jokes that only that target market would understand, things like that. I'll go into detail on another video, but write really good headlines. Or for right now, Google how to write really good headlines, and you'll get some good ideas. The third reason that people open your emails, semi-related to the first, is the content of your emails. And I don't mean the content of your current email, right? Because if I'm opening my inbox and I see an email and I'm deciding whether to open it or not, the content within that email has zero effect on whether I'm going to open it, because by the time I have read it, I will have already decided to open it. What I mean by this is the content of your previous emails will determine or help determine, in tandem with the first two items I discussed, how willing someone is to open your subsequent email. So let's go back to Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ sent me an email, I would 100% open it, right? The first one. But what if you read the email and it's kind of boring? Well, if Jesus emails me again, maybe a few days later or the next week, I'm probably still going to open it because the weight in that name is extremely high. But if the second one's boring, then the third time I may or may not open it, right? Or if the second and third one are boring, you're eventually going to stop opening the emails, right? So the content of your previous emails are extremely, extremely important in terms of the open rate of subsequent emails. So that is why it's important to write really good emails, not for the open rate of your current email, but for the open rate of future ones, right? It's simple logic, right? If I send you an email, if you're on my email list, which I highly recommend that you should be, you'll know that I take the time to add real value to your week every Friday morning, right? I write one email every Friday morning, and I make sure it's something extremely useful and well thought out. Because if I write 1 or 2 Fridays worth of emails and they're boring, you're going to stop opening them. And then it may not even matter how good the headline is, right? Because if you think my content's boring, you're not going to open the email anyways. So those are the 3 core reasons. They're probably the only reasons. I can't really think of, there might be some other minor reasons, but the sender name, the subject line, and the content of previous emails. If you can nail those 3, so if you can build a strong personal name or brand name, if you can write really compelling headlines and your previous emails are filled with good content, people are going to open them. Now, not everybody is, right? People might get busy. They might have a busy week. You might run into spam issues. Who knows what? There's, industry standards, I believe, are anywhere between like 10 and 20% open rates on average. So there's people doing better. There's people doing worse. There's people right in the middle. But on average, not everyone's going to read your emails. That's just life. But if you can crack those 3 things, it's going to increase your open rate. You're going to have more people reading your stuff. You're going to build better relationships with them. You're going to hopefully make more sales or, get them to do more of the thing that it is that you want them to do. So I hope that was super helpful. If you are sold on email, if you haven't been using it enough, if you haven't been using it at all and you want to give it a try, I think it's totally underutilized. And I suggest that everybody be building an email list. If you have a website, you should have an email list. And so in the description below, I'm going to include a blog post that I posted recently. It's called the 4 Easy Steps to Growing an Email List. And it's free. So what I suggest is how to do it. And then there's 2 tools that I recommend that you can use totally for free. So MailChimp and MailerLite are 2 email automation softwares that I've used recently, and they're free for the first. MailerLite is free for the first 1,000 subscribers, and MailChimp is free for the first 2,000. And so you can set up your email list and start running it totally for free in about 30 minutes. And so that's what this blog post outlines. Anyways, hope that makes sense. If you have any questions or you do want to talk more about email, the easiest way is to get in touch by email. And so join the email list in the description below. When you do, you'll get an email from me with a free PDF on my tips for sales, you can respond directly to that email and it comes right to my inbox and I check and respond to all of them. I love talking about email marketing. One of my favorite topics regarding digital marketing, mainly because I don't love social. I'm not the big picture poster, posting picture type guys. I don't like the hashtags. It's just not really me. I really like email because I like writing. I like keeping it personal and stuff like that. So anyways, let the ramble finish here. We're crossing the 10-minute chasm. Hope your week's gone well. And make sure, if you haven't already, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and like the video. It really helps. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss these coming out every Friday. And hope to chat with you soon. Have a good one.